It's a brand new week. Welcome to Breakfast Central here on News Central Television, the best breakfast show you could ever imagine. Yes, we bring you the best of news, discussions, and the latest trends in Nigeria. I am Gbenga. Welcome to a brand new week.
And I am Olive Ewadi, welcoming you to another week here of exploring some of the biggest stories in Nigeria. It's been quite a long weekend, and of course Breakfast Extra did bring you some of the biggest stories around Nigeria and the world. And this morning we'll be starting off Wake Up Conversations with this conversation, starting off with our very first story. But before we get into that, Gbenga, I hope you had a good weekend.
Yes, it was an extended Valentine's weekend. And, I didn't want the weekend to finish, honestly.
The God of the single people will speak for us, and it will
your story will change. This time next year we'll be singing a different tune
and a different song. I receive it, Pastor. Thank you. But the Valentine weekend did not stop all the heat that affected Nigeria's government or the polity, or maybe our reputation, I would say, as U.S. Congressman Scott Perry, in a shocking video that has now gone viral, made allegations and about the USAID and a number of their investments not necessarily being what Nigerians think it is, but being used as agencies to fund or avenues to fund terrorist groups. A number of them were mentioned: Boko Haram, Al-Qaeda, and a number of these terrorist groups were mentioned. Now, part of the arguments that the USAID had brought up, or some of those who have been in support of it, they talked about Operation... there was a certain operation, I can't seem to remember the name now, and that they said that this operation, of course, was targeted at helping women in Afghanistan, but that the money did not get to the target audience. Yes. And there have been mixed reactions about this, especially because of the personality and the reputation of Scott Perry.
On both sides, exactly, because of his reputation. He's been known to make false alarms in the past. He's also been known to be a conspiracy theorist, and I guess some are arguing that, don't look at the messenger, look at the message. So it's been, if you look at Nigerian Twitter sphere, X sphere, over the weekend, it's either you're in this camp or the other. There are others that argue that, yes, USAID, they refer to the video, the interview the Chief of Defense Staff, General Chris Musa, did with Al Jazeera, where he said they found foreign monies with some of the terrorists they captured during the operations, which points and alludes to the fact that there might be a linkage with foreign interference somewhere. But still a lot to unpack.
Absolutely.
And during the course of Breakfast Central, we'll pay detailed attention to it and, x-ray the whole issue with experts.
I mean, if you recall, part of the arguments we've seen that have been leveled against U.S. Congressman Scott Perry would be the fact that there was evidence to maybe the attempt to upturn or overturn the 2020 elections, and there's also talking about another allegation, or rather stain on his reputation, will be the association with the House Freedom Caucus amidst internal disputes. They said, as the chair of the House Freedom Caucus, he had been linked to internal disputes and controversies within the group. The involvement in the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot, the communications between Perry and former DOJ official Jeff Clark suggested Perry's involvement in efforts related to the events of January 6th. So there's also been lots of public criticism, and he's faced a lot of legal scrutiny. And this, of course, controversies have led to many casting aspersions as to the validity of these claims. However, there are others who would say Nigeria has been having the Boko Haram problem for a while. And the one question Nigerians have always asked is, how do these people get these monies? Yes, kidnapping is one means, but is kidnapping enough for them to lay their hands on the foreign currency that they've been alleged to use to purchase arms and to further expand the work that they do? But we'll be looking into more details.
A lot of questions begging for answers. But still looking at the top stories of the weekend, let's look at this viral video of Dangote versus NNPC, which sparked a fierce debate, and of course the NNPC also released a statement condemning it. Now, the video, a young man, we don't know if he's a content creator, bought 2 sets of what we call a Beta Pasio neighbor generator. It bought a few from NNPC filling station. They got another one from MRS, which it's Dangote, which takes fuel from the Dangote depot. But let's watch the video and it will tell the story.
I did exactly that for both of them. I filled both generators with the same quantity of fuel, turned them on, and set a timer. And after 17 minutes 51 seconds, the generator running on NNPC fuel died first. Meanwhile, the generator using MRS fuel kept running for 30 minutes. That's a 13 minutes difference, a big deal, especially when it's cheaper. So yeah, it looks like the Dangote refined fuel actually lasts longer than the fuel you get from at least NNPC. And again, it is cheaper. Oh God, it is called fuel, not fuel. Fuel.
Yeah, the NNPC didn't find that funny, so they came up with a reaction, a strong reaction. Let's look at their tweet.
NNPC, of course, has refuted these claims they refer to as misleading. It says, NNPC Limited strongly refutes the false and misleading allegations made in a viral video circulating online, which claims that NNPC fuel does not last. This assertion is baseless and entirely unfounded, originating from unverified and amateur research that lacks credibility, accuracy, and professional oversight. NNPC Limited reaffirms that its fuel is carefully formulated with one of the best compositions ensuring optimal efficiency, durability, and environmental sustainability for consumers. Furthermore, it is important to emphasize that a significant percentage of PMS sold at NNPC retail stations in Lagos, where this deceptive video was created, is sourced from the Dangote refinery, a strategic partner in promoting local production and energy security. Dangote refinery adheres to strict industry standards guaranteeing the quality of petroleum products supplied to our consumers. They go on, and in one of the paragraphs you can see there where they say that they will take firm legal action against individuals or groups who intentionally spread falsehoods about their brand and operations. But interestingly, this young man's video is not the first time that we're seeing allegations like this on social media. There have been people on X who have shared their experiences with the fuel, saying that from their own personal experience, they found out that the MRS petrol lasted longer because MRS sourced directly from Dangote. One of the things or the hallmarks of Dangote's petrol from the point where he had all those conflicts was that they kept on pushing about how they had quality petrol. I don't know if it's, excuse me, I don't know if that's what inspired Nigerians to have that mentality. I don't have a personal experience to share. Unfortunately, even if I did, for now, I will not be sharing until I'm, very sure about it. But maybe other Nigerians can share with us their thoughts in this.
At the end of the day, Nigerians just want to buy fuel that is cheap. And what works for MRS is cheaper than NNPC. And there's also a claim, allegedly, that it lasts longer than NNPC. So it's natural for Nigerians to gravitate towards that. The NNPC, I mean, this is 60 plus years since independence. We shouldn't even be importing petrol. I understand the fact that they're trying to discourage monopoly. That's why there's the deregulation of the Nigerian petrol downstream sector. But when you allow other players, when you allow people to start modular refineries and all of that, at the end of the day, Nigerians will benefit from it. Will buy fuel at a reduced rate. So I still don't understand why they're protecting importers and why we should still be importing petrol. Just last week, a Dangote refinery exported millions of barrels of jet A1 fuel, aviation fuel, to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. That's a massive shipment, and it should be celebrated that, look, this West African country is beginning to be a next exporter of finished products. Not just, Africa is not just a raw materials place where you come and then we buy the imported at a higher price. So let's encourage made in Nigeria products.
I think the summary of what it is, and the highlight that I want to pick from what you said is, at the end of the day, Nigerians don't care about the semantics of who has what. They just want cheaper fuel, clean fuel that would last long, and that's affordable. That's really what Nigerians want, because it's been a roller coaster. I mean, much later on in the show, we're talking about Tinubunomics. But it's a long journey from when Nigerians were, where the current administration took over power, when Nigerians were buying fuel, short of 200 naira, and now they're buying fuel for 1,000 naira or more, depending on where you're buying from. So it's been a long journey, a lot of adjustment Nigerians have had to make. Unfortunately, they're making these adjustments when their finances are not commensurate to the increase that they've had to, deal with, or the increased cost of living that they're having to experience. But let's move away from that story to the third story. Now, Mudashiru Obasa, the former Lagos State House of Assembly,
still in the news?
Speaker is still in the news at this time around. He is, of course, challenging the process by which he was, quote-unquote, impeached, stating that, they didn't go through the due process. Now, he's seeking reinstatement, not just challenging the process. And of course, this development has sparked discussions on the validity of his claims, as well as potential political involvement in the subject matter. Now, this suit was filed whilst people were sharing love on the 14th of February to their loved ones. Mudashiru Obasa was not showing love as he filed this lawsuit on the 14th of February 2025 at the Lagos State High Court, contending that his removal on January 13, 2025 was unlawful. He names current Speaker Mojisola Miranda and the Lagos State House of Assembly as defendants.
I like this. As a law-abiding citizen, if you feel harm has been done to you, if you feel you've been, unduly removed, the best way to seek redress is through the law courts, the court of law. Yes, and it's gone to courts to test and see what the pronouncement will be. I really like this, but it's been dragging on for too long. I mean, Lagos State has a serious business to attend to, the members of the state legislature, and to see this back and forth. I'm not even sure if he's attended plenary since the return from the United States, because it will be very shocking to him. Someone that has been speaker for almost a decade, 9 years plus, just to go back to the floor as an ordinary member, and that's what he cannot take. That's why he's going to court to challenge the authority of Miranda. Because it's a place where he can, if the case is in his favor, maybe get whatever justice might mean in this regard. But
just from the grapevine, have it that a number of them probably don't want him back, because there's also the fears that if he comes back, he would rain terror on the people who, quote-unquote, conspired to get him out. He might be a toxic or more toxic than they are already alleged that he already was. Because if you recall, part of the accusations that were leveled against him was, how he was, his high-handedness, lateness to meetings, what they felt was
emperor-like behavior.
Exactly.
And if he's been watching News Central, we've had panels of lawyers and legal practitioners dissect this. If he has just watched Nigerian news, he will know that. I mean, I don't want to sound prejudiced, but you can fill in the gaps.
Well, yes. Of course, there are people who think that it was constitutional, the way in which he was, quote-unquote, kicked out, but he thinks it isn't. There might be others who also think it isn't, but the court has the final say. Yeah. You have your say, I have my say.
The court has the final say.
The court has the final say.